Hi, I'm Joe James. This is our third video in the linear equations series. In this video, we're going to talk about slope.
So let's learn about slope. Our symbol for slope is m, as you saw in the equation before. So y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form for the line. M is the slope. And we calculate that as rise over run. And y, as you know, is the vertical element of a point, right? And x is horizontal, or horizontal movement. So delta is change, that's the symbol for change in y, over change in x. The slope can be calculated as change in y over change in x. So if you're given 2 points, x1 and y1 is 1 point, and x2 and y2 is another point on the line, then you can find the slope of that line by finding the change in y dividing by the change in x between those 2 points. And we'll work through some problems so you see how that works. So slope in a horizontal line is 0. M equals 0. So an example of an equation for a horizontal line is y equals 3. Here you can see that for any value of x, y is always 3. We're always moving 3 up to get to our line. So m equals 0 here because there is no slope at all. This is a horizontal line. In a vertical line, a typical equation for a vertical line would be x equals -2. Here you can see we're always going 2 units to the left to get to our line from the y-axis. So for all values of y, no matter where you are on this y-axis, you always go 2 units left to get to the line. So this is a vertical line, and the slope is basically called undefined. And two other instances of slope, slope can be positive or greater than 0, like in this blue line. We see that the line angles up and to the right. And slope could be negative or less than 0. And here we see in this green line, slope is angling down and to the right. So if slope is downward angling to the right, slope is negative. If slope is angling up and to the right, then slope is positive. Now when we have two lines, the lines could be parallel, and if they're parallel, then they have exactly the same slope. Here we have two lines, y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals 2x minus 5. And you can see that the slope here, this coefficient of x, they both have 2 for the slope. They have the same slope. So parallel lines will always have the same slope. Perpendicular lines will have negative reciprocal slopes. What does that mean? Well, if in the first line y equals 1/3, we are first going to take the negative of that, and then we're going to flip it. So 1/3 becomes 3 over 1. So negative 3 over 1, or negative 3, is the slope of a perpendicular line. That's a line that intersects at a right angle, a 90-degree angle. You can see these two lines intersect at a 90-degree angle. The slope of one line is 1/3, and the slope of the other line is -3, or the negative reciprocal of the first line. So let's work through some problems. What is the slope of the line represented by the equation 6y minus 14x equals 5? Well, this is the standard form of the line. This is not the slope-intercept form. So we want to convert this form of the line to the slope-intercept form, and then we'll know what the slope is, right? Y equals mx plus b. So what we have to do is isolate the y on the left. And to do that, the first step here is to get rid of all the terms that have an x or a constant in them, which is this -14x term here. So right now we're subtracting 14x on this side. To get rid of that, we want to add 14x. So we'll do a plus 14x to cancel that out. That cancels this out on this side. We also need to add 14x to this side of the equation. So now we've added 14x to both sides of the equation, so we didn't change the equation, right? All we did was move this -14x to the right-hand side. So let's rewrite our equation now after this operation. On the left, all we have left is a 6y equals, let's see, over here we have a positive 14x and we have a 5. Can we combine those two and add them together and just get 19? No, we can't, because this is a constant, this is an x term. So we can't just add these two together. These are two separate terms. So let's keep these separate. We have a 14x term. Let's write that first. We'll write the x term first. 14x plus 5. Okay, so that's the first step. We added 14x to both sides. Our next step is going to be to get rid of this 6. So we can isolate, just have y over here on the left. So we're multiplying by 6, right? We're multiplying the y by 6 here. What do we want to do to get rid of the 6? Well, we have to do the opposite of multiplying by 6. We're going to divide by 6. So when we divide by 6, that cancels that out. And all we have left on the left-hand side of the equation here is a y. So when we do this divide by 6 for that term, we have to do that for every term in the equation. So we're going to divide this term by 6 and this term by 6. So let's see, 14, 6, both of those are even, so we can divide those both by 2. What do we get? 7 over 3. 7 over 3 times x plus 5 over 6. Okay, so that's our slope-intercept form of the line, you see. So the question is, what is the slope? Well, the slope is this. It's the coefficient of x, right? 7/3. So m equals 7/3. That's our answer. All we had to do was convert the standard form of the line to the slope-intercept form. And then we took the slope right out of there. Let's try another one. So what is the slope of the line represented by the equation 8y plus 3x equals 10? Let's see. This is just like the last one. So we want to isolate the y on the left, right? We want to put it in slope-intercept form. So we have a plus 3x. We're going to do the opposite of adding 3x. We'll subtract 3x. So minus 3x on both sides of the equation. And let's rewrite what we have. Let's see. Those 3x terms canceled each other out. So all we have left on the left side here is 8y equals, let's see, so we'll have the negative 3x term, we'll write that first, and plus 10. Okay, so we're halfway there. We got rid of the 3x term. Now we need to get rid of this y, the coefficient of y here, the 8. So let's divide that by 8 to get rid of it. When we divide by 8, that cancels out that 8. But we also need to do what? We need to divide this by 8 and this by 8. Okay, so now we're going to get y equals negative 3 over 8. We can't simplify that. Times x. Plus, let's see, those are both even, so we can divide by 2, right? 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4. So what is the slope of the line represented by the equation? Well, the slope is the coefficient of x when we have it in the slope-intercept form, which is negative 3/8. So m equals negative 3/8. Okay, let's try another one. The formula for line W in standard form is 5x minus y equals 2. Find the formula for the line W in slope-intercept. Okay, so we need to convert this to slope-intercept form. So let's see, we want to isolate the y on the left, right? So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this x term. So we have a positive 5x. What are we going to do to get rid of that? Well, we're going to subtract 5x, right? Minus 5x on both sides. So minus 5x over here. And let's see, let's rewrite what we have. These are going to cancel out. And we're going to get a negative y on the left. Negative 5x plus 2. So all we've done is deleted the 5x term on the left by subtracting it. And now we want to get rid of this negative sign. So basically we're multiplying y by a negative 1, because basically this is the same as saying negative 1 times y, right? That's equivalent to this. So how do we get rid of this negative 1? Well, we can divide by negative 1 or multiply by a negative 1. So what we'll do is we'll multiply the whole equation by a negative 1, right, times negative 1. So when we multiply negative y by a negative 1, that becomes a positive y, right, because the two negatives cancel each other out. And then we multiply negative 5 by a negative 1, we get a positive 5. In other words, we're really just changing the sign of each term in the equation when we multiply by negative 1. And when we multiply a 2 by negative 1, we get a negative 2. So that's our slope-intercept form. They ask us to find the slope-intercept form. This is it. So we're done. Okay, let's look at another problem. Given line K with formula y equals 6x minus 15, what is the slope of a line perpendicular to line K? So we're looking for a slope of a line perpendicular to line K. Well, the slope of this line is 6, right? So if m equals 6 of K, what is the line perpendicular to that? Well, it's negative reciprocal of 6, right? So negative, we're going to take the negative of it, and then we're going to put 1 over 6. 1 over 6. So that's the slope of the line that's perpendicular to K. Negative 1/6. Now, given the following 2 points on the coordinate plane, 3, 7, and negative 2, 5, what is the slope of the line that passes through both points? So we remember from one of the earlier slides that m, the slope, is equal to change in y's over change in x's, right? So the formula is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So we'll call this point 1 and this point 2. And then we just need to plug in those numbers and see what we get. So what is y1? Let's see, 7, right? 7 minus y2 is 5 over x1 is 3 minus x2. x2 is a negative 2. So since we get two negatives, right, 3 minus negative 2, those cancel each other out and it becomes 3 plus 2. Two negative signs cancel each other out. So we get 7 minus 5, which is 2, over 3 plus 2, which is 5, 2/5. So that is our slope of the line that contains those 2 points. That's it. Let's try another one like that. So find the slope of the line that contains these 2 points. Again, we'll call this point 1 and this point 2. And let's see, the slope, let's rewrite that equation again. It's y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And that's equal to, let's see, what is y1? 6 minus negative 9, right? So that becomes 6 plus 9. And x1 is negative 2 minus 3. Okay, so we get, what, 15 over negative 5. And then we can divide both the top and bottom by 5, right? And we get 3 over 1, which is negative 3. So the slope is negative 3. Okay, which of these lines has a negative slope? Well, let's see. Let's start with the purple one. So we know that a negative slope means that the line is going to be angled down and to the right. So is this one angled down and to the right? Yes. So I'm going to say this one is yes, yes. How about this one? This is horizontal. So the slope for the horizontal line is 0. So this is going to be no. Let's see, how about this one? Is this angled down and to the right? No, this is angled up and to the right, steep up and to the right. So this is going to be no. This does not have a negative slope. It's a positive slope. How about this vertical line? Remember what the slope for a vertical line is? It's undefined. So this one is going to be no. How about this blue line? Let's see, that's angled up and to the right. So that is a positive slope, right? Up and to the right is a positive slope. So that's no. And the green line is angled down and to the right, so that one is, yes, negative slope, right? Down and to the right means a negative slope. So let's do number 8. What is the slope of the line shown? Well, the slope is the rise over run, or we can find 2 points on the line, and then we can apply the same equation that we did, same formula. So let's pick 2 points, though, that intersect our grid. We don't want to pick like this point because we don't want to be having fractional coordinates here. So we want to pick 2 points where the line intersects the grid. So this is a good one, right here, intersects the grid right there. And that point is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. So 0, negative 5 is 1 point. And then, let's see, let's find another one. To intersect there, yeah, it's like right here pretty much. It's a good one. So what's the coordinate for that? Positive 6, negative 6, right? Okay, so we could just say m equals y1, negative 5, minus y2, which is plus 6, over x1, 0, minus x2, which is 6, equals positive 1 over negative 6. So that's negative 1/6. Okay, so using our point-point formula for finding the slope between 2 points on a line, we get negative 1/6. Now you could also just say rise over run between those 2 points. So what is rise? Well, rise is negative 1, isn't it? Right? Because from this point, we're going to go down 1 to get to the other point. So that's negative 1. And then the run is positive 6. So rise over run gives us negative 1 over positive 6, right? The run is 6. The rise is negative 1. So using the rise over run, you get negative 1/6 between those 2 points. So first step is you always have to identify 2 points on the line that intersect your grid at a nice even point. And then you can either just find the rise over run between those two, or you can use this m equals difference in y's over difference in x's formula. Problem number 9. So what is the slope of the line shown? Again, we just want to find 2 points here where our line intersects our grid. So here's one, and let's see, where's another one? Here. Okay. So we got 2 points. Let's see, what's the rise over run of those? So the rise from this point to that point is 1, 2, 3. We're going up, right? So it's a positive 3. So rise over run is positive 3 over, what's run? It's positive 1 because we're going 1 to the right. So 3 over 1. So here our slope is 3, isn't it? We could also identify those coordinates for those points, which is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 5, comma, negative 1. That's 1 point. And then the other point is, let's see, negative 4, comma, positive 2. And then we can apply the the same equation to solve that we used before. So m equals y1, negative 1, minus y2, 2, over x1, which is negative 5, minus x2. So we're going to change that to a positive 4 because there's two negative signs. And when we simplify this, we get negative 3 over negative 1. And the two negatives cancel each other out, and that simplifies to 3. So either way you do that, the first step is always going to be the same. Identify 2 points that are on your grid, right? Here's another point that's on the grid that you could use. 2 points that intersect the grid, and then either use rise over run, or identify the coordinates of those 2 points and use the same formula for the 2 points to find the slope. So both ways you get the slope of 3.
I hope this video was helpful for you. If so, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'm Joe James. Thanks for watching.